Hello all. What a wacky time we're in. The US is doing stuff that Germany did. People are getting outraged. Finally. Got some really bad news on that. But let's go do the environmental news first over on the board. So the Orange Man once again did something horrible. Do you know what he did? He went and took away a policy that was put in place to protect our oceans around the U.S. and the planet. It was a bipartisan policy that was implemented, full of science, and it was because of the Deepwater Horizon accident, where all that oil and Corexol was thrown into the Gulf of Mexico and has now spread throughout the Gulf and up the seaboard and into Greenland area. Is as far as they're finding it. But the Orange Man just axed the policy, said that we don't need it. The oceans don't need protection because the oceans are there for one purpose, and that is for humans to make money off of. So the Orange Man has established the Ocean Policy Committee, which will determine how and how fast they can make the oceans available for economic reasons. In other words, how fast we can figure out how to make money off the oceans. So this will encourage more ocean drilling, deep water ocean drilling. We're also going to start mining the oceans. Now this will be a scraping operation, similar to what you see in the fields around farmlands where they're scraping the land. They'll do the same thing with the oceans, except they'll take up all the minerals in the ocean. Everything that's on the bottom of the ocean will be sucked up into a barge, separated, and the unwanted material will be thrown back in the ocean, turning the oceans into big, mucky areas. How fast can this happen? Well, every single year, most of the continents on the planet are plowed. It only takes a month or so. So you could literally plow away most of what's on the bottom of the ocean in probably less than 2 or 3 years, completely destroying the ocean habitat. But again, the Orange Man feels the sole purpose of the oceans is to make money off of. Do you think that way? Do you have some thoughts on what the oceans are worth and why they're even here? Is it solely for humans to dump their garbage and make money off of? You know, sometimes there's this noise on the internet, and that noise ends up turning to be news later on. A couple of years ago, maybe it was 3 years ago, there was this big hype about organ harvesting from children, and it was Alex that started that whole nonsense about the children's organs being sold off in the U.S. and other countries through family planning. Well, what we just saw was the Orange Man made up order to separate children from parents. Then he came on and pretended as if it was somebody else that did it, and he saved the day by signing it off. However, nothing has really changed. The parents now will go to permanent prisons with their children. And what about the 1,500 kids that are missing that we know of? That's where the noise is coming in. You know, when you make a problem and then you come in to pretend like you're saving people from the problem and that you're really the hero, and the stupid sheep will actually fall for this shit. Doesn't it make sense that the next story could be true? God, let's go over to the board. This one sucks. So it's quite obvious that the Orange Man is linked to the mob in New York and probably Russia, Saudi Arabia, and other places around the world. But there are rumors that the Orange Man's mob has taken these children and harvested their organs for money. Now you remember what I was saying about 3 or 4 years ago with the other scandal about harvesting organs, covering up, and here the truth is maybe it's really them harvesting the organs, you know? But this organ harvesting thing keeps coming up over and over. I just wouldn't put it past them. It's a rumor. We're going to keep watching. What's happening in the U.S. is disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful. I'm glad to see some people finally out in the streets doing something. Finally, go ahead, have at it on the message board. Say what you think about what the U.S. is doing to the children that are fleeing absolute horror, because they wouldn't go through this hell if where they lived before wasn't even worse. And there will be a time when one of the supervolcanoes might go off here in the U.S., and the U.S. has to become refugees to both Canada and Mexico. Boy, was that going to be interesting. Appreciate your comments, your ups and downs, and definitely the new subscribers. Let me know if you hear anything about this organ harvesting rumor.